Damn, damn. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. You can't win all of them. You can't win all of them. The Phillies fall in extra innings, even though they probably should have won. They definitely should have won this game. They had all the chances in the world. It was just that, bottom of the 10th inning came back to haunt you. After Ruiz in the top of the 10th inning holds the Mets scoreless, you have two men on, one with nobody out for your best RBI guy in Alec Bohm. He grinded to a double play. Then Nick Castellanos, originally off the bat, you think it's going to be a hit, but then it just goes right to one of the Mets outfielders because they're shaded in that direction. And then you go to the 11th inning. Alvarado struggles, very unlike him. And then you make a fight in the bottom of the 11th inning. Bryson Stott grounds out, which is a force out to, bring the fifth run home for the Phillies. And then Kyle Schwarber probably had one of the worst at-bats in the world with a chance to possibly tie the game there in the bottom of the 11th. But, end of the day, you're not going to win every single game. If you look at these four games as a whole, just view it as a four-game series. You won 3 of 4 in a four-game series against the New York Mets. That's basically what it's all about. I always say this going in the four-game series. It's hard to sweep four-game series, regardless of the opponent that you're playing against. The main goal should be to win 3 of 4, and a four-game sweep would be the icing on the cake. Sadly, you could have gotten the sweep today, but, it's not always going to happen. I look at series wins at the end of the day, and that's the most important thing you can get. I do expect this Phillies team to bounce back this weekend against the Washington Nationals like they've been doing basically after every loss they've been having recently, so I wouldn't be too shocked if they do that. But, yeah, a very strange game. Taijuan Walker exits early after, he takes a liner off of his foot. Just didn't look comfortable and instantly came out of the ball game. Got to give it up to the Phillies bullpen for keeping this game even close. Really the only guys that you probably expected to have clean innings were the guys that didn't have clean innings, and those were the guys that are in the back of your bullpen. That was Hoffman and Alvarado, but basically everybody else was fantastic. If you look at Matt Strahm, he was fantastic. Still hasn't allowed a run. Basically, since opening day, the opening series against the Atlanta Braves. He's been absolutely fantastic since then. Kerkering had a good inning. He did allow a base runner, but he struck out 3. Gregory Soto had a clean inning, very surprisingly. Hoffman, yeah. The Hoffman inning did start with a Bryson Stott throwing error at shortstop, so errors do come back to bite you at the end of the day, but then, a liner with 2 outs off of Hoffman's back allows the runs to score for, the Mets to get, tie the ball game up there and then eventually take the lead. And then Ruiz, he pitched 2 huge innings. I was very skeptical about Rob letting him pitch the top of the 10th inning, but then he proved me wrong. The gamble worked there, and he got some pretty big outs for a huge outing there by Ruiz. It was, Alvarado. First couple of batters that he faced, he got rocked a little bit. First pitch to J.D. Martinez was a hit, and then Harrison Bader came in later into the ball game and basically was the difference maker there for the Mets in terms of driving in runs. So that's basically was it there. Even though, yeah, you do have a chance in the bottom of the 10th inning. They intentionally walked Bryce Harper, which was going to be obvious. Free base open with the ghost runner. You're not going to let Bryce Harper face you. That's just not going to be. You'd be stupid to do that. Even though Alec Bohm has been one of the Phillies' best players driving in runs this year, you're still going to choose to take Bohm over one of the best players in baseball in Bryce Harper. And the gamble worked out there. Bohm grounded out into a double play. Bohm's not always going to get that clutch hit with guys on. And then Nick Castellanos, like I said, he just lined out to left field. And yeah, that's basically where you lost the game. JT also got robbed in the bottom of the 9th inning after you tied it on Edwin Diaz again, so he blows another save to you. So some huge stuff there, but then JT got robbed, basically. Bryson Stott haunting Edwin Diaz again, but then JT gets robbed by McNeil over at second base, which, if McNeil missed it, it would have been a single, and it would have been the game winner there. So basically, the 9th inning you got robbed in the 10th inning was where you should have won it, and you didn't. So that's the bottom line there. There's no reason to overreact. I know a lot of people are going to find a way to overreact about this one because, obviously, freaking Phillies postgame, they always find, even though it's Michael Barkan always finds ways to overreact there. Freaking Ricky Batalgo just trying to settle him down. It's just, this wasn't an egregious game by any of the slightest. You're not going to win every single game. That's just the bottom line. View this entire stretch with the Mets here as a 4-game series, and you'll probably feel a lot better about it, even though there's no reason to feel bad about it whatsoever. You played your division rival, you won 2 in New York, and yeah, you happened to split the 2 at home, but in a whole sample size, it's a 4-game series, and you won 3 out of 4. And that's what's most important at the end of the day. It just is. It just is. You're not always going to beat teams that you should beat. All that matters is that you win the series. And that's exactly what the Phillies did today. Jesus. Does suck, though. I would have loved to sweep the Mets. That would have been very fun, especially in Mets fashion once again, where they come back on Jeff Hoffman, they find a way to take the lead, and then Edwin Diaz blows it again, and then almost JT wins the game, but then they choke it in the top of the 10th inning, but then sadly you choked in the bottom of the 10th inning. You know, it could have been very, very funny for the way that it could have ended, but, you know, like I said, you're not always going to win those games, and that sucks at the end of the day. I don't know what this means for Taijuan Walker, though, so we're just going to have to wait and see what Rob Thompson says in his post-game presser about Taijuan. So I'm assuming they're going to get the MRI eventually, and then we'll see what happens in that case. So if Taijuan Walker has to miss some time here, I would assume that means Spencer Turnbull comes back into the rotation. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. For Taijuan Walker's sake, he did allow a home run in the top of the first inning. He did allow a second run to score as well. So just looking at this game in totality, Pete Alonso hit the home run in the top of the first inning, and then in the top of the second inning, a single, and then a double allowed the second run to score. And then I believe it was in, which inning was it? I believe it was the 4th inning when Taijuan Walker got the liner kicked right back to him. That was with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. And, you know, just didn't feel right. I'm not sure. Looking at the replay, I'm not sure if it was the reaction to the foot or if it was the way, because he stood weird after he got hit. So I'm not sure if he pulled something in his leg or something like that. I don't know. Maybe fractured. Maybe it's a toe or something like that. I have no idea. I have no idea, because he just did not look comfortable whatsoever, and that was immediate when he was throwing the baseball. So we'll see. We'll see. But like I said, if he misses extended period of time, that means Spencer Turnbull comes back into the rotation, and then that means your bullpen gets a little bit, less depth in there because of Turnbull coming back into the rotation. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens on that process. Like I said, throughout the stream, I'm going to be scrolling through Twitter just to see if Rob says anything about Taijuan Walker. But it'll most likely be those typical things where needs an MRI. We won't find out till tomorrow. So basically that's it. Basically that's it there. Phillies definitely were quiet through most of this game. They didn't get their first runs until the bottom of the 6th inning. They definitely had some chances, but they were definitely struggling against Jose Quintana, which is kind of underwhelming because Jose Quintana does not have good enough numbers. He has over a 5 ERA. But you go to that bottom of the 6th inning, they eventually do get the Jose Quintana. They force the Mets to go to the bullpen, and that's how the Phillies tie it up. JT gets a 1-out single, then Bryce Harper reaches in on an infield single. Then the Mets decide to go to the bullpen. Bohm drives in a run, makes it 2-1, and then Castellanos hits a sacrifice fly to tie the ball game up. Soto in the 7th inning goes 1-2-3. Phillies take the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning after a Stott walk. And then eventually Kyle Schwarber doubles down the right field line to give the Phillies the lead. Sadly, the Mets do take the lead in the top of the 8th inning with Jeff Hoffman on the mound. Throwing error by Bryson, Stott. Then Jeff Hoffman walks Pete Alonso. He manages to strike out Francisco Lindor and strike out JD Martinez. But then Harrison Bader hits that liner that goes off of the back of Jeff Hoffman and goes into center field for the go-ahead runs there. And then a wild pitch happens during one of the at-bats, which allows Alonso to score, makes it 4-3. So it's just those mistakes. You could have, limited the damage there. Okay, if they tie the game, I can't throw a wild pitch, which allows the run to score, and that's exactly what happened during this inning and also the bottom of the 10th inning, or the top of the 11th inning, actually. So that's how those runs scored. And then it comes back to haunt you. Bottom of the 8th inning, Alec Bohm had a double with 1 out, but the Phillies couldn't drive him home. Top of the 9th inning, Ruiz goes 1-2-3. Bottom of the 10th inning, Marsh leads off with a walk. Stott then singles because Marsh went to second base on a wild pitch during the Cody Clemens at bat. And then Stott singled, scored the run, tied the ball game up, and then you go into extras. Ruiz does his job, gets a couple of force outs, and gets a strikeout of Francisco Lindor, 3-2. Go to the bottom of the 10th. Bryce intentionally walks. Bohm grounds that double play, which moves JT to third base. And then top of the 11th, Castellanos lined out as well. Top of the 11th inning, Martinez on the first pitch drives the run home. Bader gets the double, which moves the runners to second and third. Then Alvarado gets the next two guys to strike out, and then a wild pitch happens during the McNeil at bat, which allows the sixth run to score for the Mets. So once again, another wild pitch situation allows that run to score. Bottom of the 11th inning, Merrifield, who is useless, he lines out. Merrifield is just getting uglier and uglier every day at this point. I defended the signing. I thought it was a very solid depth signing for you. He really has not done anything since. Brandon Marsh, he gets safe on a fielding error by Pete Alonso. Then Cody Clemens works a walk. And then Bryson Stott grounds into that fielder's choice, which manages to score the last run for the Phillies, 6-5. And then Kyle Schwarber had a very bad at bat in the bottom of the 11th inning for the strikeout. So yeah, Phillies batters today. Kyle Schwarber, he goes 1 for 6 with 1 RBI. JT Realmuto goes 2 for 5. Bryce Harper goes 1 for 4. Alec Boehm goes 2 for 5 with an RBI. Nick Castellanos goes 0 for 4 with a sac fly. Whit Merrifield 1 for 5. Brandon Marsh 0 for 1 with a walk and also reached it on an error. Edmundo Sosa was 0 for 1 that Cody Clemens eventually came into the ballgame. He went 0 for 2. Christian Pache went 0 for 2. And then Bryson Stott went 1 for 2 with an RBI. Phillies go 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They leave 10 runners on base. In terms of the pitching was basically, if you look besides Taijuan Walker, the Phillies pitching went, 7 2/3 innings and only allowed 1 earned run. So you really can't blame the pitching at the end of the day, but it was Hoffman and it was Alvarado that allowed the runs in the 8th inning, in the 10th inning as well. Hoffman, yeah, the error did happen by Bryson Stott, but you do got to find a way to not throw wild pitches and all that stuff, and then Jose Alvarado's got to find a way to limit the damage in the top of the 11th. That's what's got to happen there. So, you're not going to win them all. You're definitely not going to win them all. 31-14 on the year, still best record in the Major League Baseball. So, really nothing to complain about at the end of the day. I know there will be people that find ways to complain. That's basically how Phillies fans are. There's no reason to complain, in my honest opinion. So, I just want to look up some other stats while we continue up here. Let's see. Leaders with runners. Can I look at, not players, can I look at team hitting stat? There we go. I wonder if that's a good thing here. Expanded? Can I look at with runners in scoring position? Don't think I can. Don't think I can. Don't think I can. No, I don't think I can here. I don't think there's anything in terms of that runners in scoring position stat. That's player stats again. Can I look at teams? Can I look at teams? Can I look at teams? I don't want player stats. I want team stats. Team stats. Team stats. Team stats. Stats. Team batting. Runners in scoring position. Runners in scoring position. Runners left in scoring position? Is that a thing? Don't think that's the stat I want. I don't want runners left in scoring position. Team batting. Is it advanced batting? No. Batting ratios. No, I don't want to bat ratios. I just want runners in scoring position. Batting average. No. I can't find that stuff. So let's see. I'll find it eventually. But yeah, nothing to complain about on my part. Sometimes you just lose these games. That's all that happens at the end of the day. I'm still trying to wait for seeing anything on Taijuan Walker, but I guess that's not going to be the thing. So, yeah, I guess that's the case there. But, standings-wise, obviously, still in first place. 2.5 games above the Atlanta Braves. They didn't play today. 31-14. Braves are 26-14. There's nothing to complain about. No need to worry. Phillies schedule for the next 3 games. They play the Washington Nationals. It'll be Zack Wheeler tomorrow, Christopher Sanchez on Saturday, then Aaron Nola on Sunday. It'll be Zack Wheeler tomorrow against Jake Irvin. He is 2-3 with a 3.55 ERA. Should be able to hit him. And then it'll be Mackenzie Gore on Saturday against Christopher Sanchez. He's 2-4 with a 3.38 ERA. And then it'll be Aaron Nola against Trevor Williams. He is 4-0 with a 1.94 ERA. So he's been the Nationals' best pitcher so far. Very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. But yeah, it should be another series that you should win. And then you have a day off on Monday. Then you play the Texas Rangers. Then you go on the West Coast again before Memorial Day, 3 in Colorado and 3 in San Francisco. And then eventually get into your June schedule where you come back home and then eventually go to, London to play the Mets again. So, continue to win your ball games. That's all that matters. This is only, your third loss in the month of May. So, no reason to complain at all. No reason to complain at all. I am still trying to find this runners and scoring position stat. I cannot find it for the death of me. These websites are just not showing it at all. It's showing team stats, not player stats. It's showing player stats, not team stats. I want team stats. Not Yankees. Not Yankees. Okay. Just, no one wants to show the freaking... can I show Major League leaderboards? Is this players again? Okay, can I do 2024? Can I do 2024? Can I find just runners in scoring position? Can I find that, please? Can I find that, please? Runners in scoring position. Here we go. Here we go. Runners in scoring position. Phillies right now, they're ranked 6th. In Major League Baseball, they got a 283 average with runners in scoring position. No reason to worry there. Teams that are ahead of them, actually. Milwaukee Brewers are 5th. The Atlanta Braves are 4th. The Cleveland Guardians are 3rd. The Royals are 2nd. And the Texas Rangers are 1st. Brewers have a 287 average. Atlanta has a 290. Cleveland has a 290. Kansas City has a 294. And then Texas has a 304 average. Phillies, they have 18 home runs with runners in scoring position. Struck out 94 times. Been hit by pitch 5 times thanks to Alec Boehm. Sacrifice flies, they have 15 sacrifice flies. Double plays, they got 12. I'm assuming that means, what does that mean? Intentional walks, they got 6 intentional walks. They got 59 walks, so that's most in terms of that in where they're at right now. They got 171 RBIs. So from the top 6, they've driven in the most RBIs with runners in scoring position. So they're driving in runs. Sometimes you go for stretches. It's the journey of 162 games. That's what it is. That's what it is. I see some of you guys here in the live feed. My friend who's a Braves fan keeps telling me we're just beating up on bad teams, but I actually think we're really good and dominant. Let Braves fans think what they want to think. Braves fans are constantly complaining about us, but then Braves fans were those same people that were trying to defend themselves about their schedules. Yeah, we're playing teams that we should beat, and we're beating them. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? We're playing teams and we're playing teams that we should beat and we're beating them. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Isn't that a definition of a good team? You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat? And the Phillies have been doing that and some. I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week. I shouldn't be mad as I am since we won 3-4 against the Mets, but I hate seeing stupid errors. Defense has been sloppy lately. Well, defensively today, what was the issues besides the wild pitches? So the wild pitch by Hoffman, the wild pitch by Alvarado. Yeah, there was that sequence, I believe. Was it during the Hoffman inning, I believe? I believe it could have been the Hoffman inning. Yeah, I think it was whoever was in center field. I believe it was Marsh at the time. Marsh throws at the Boehm. Boehm bobbles the ball a little bit, which allows the runner, because Marsh was trying to throw the Boehm because they could have got the runner picked off between second and third. I believe it was Alonso at the time. And Boehm missed the throw. Alonso got the third, then Boehm tried to throw the second base, and then, just a bunch of crazy shit was just happening there. So, yeah, you're going to have those games. The Phillies and Mets series are always filled with weird shit. I'm sure they'll clean that up. I'm sure they'll 100% clean that up. Doesn't seem like it's been phasing them. Doesn't seem like it's been phasing them. So, I'm not worried about that in the slightest. Runners in scoring position is a concern. It's been bad the last 7 games. We have flashbacks of playoffs in 22 and 23 of them not hitting when needed. Playoffs, every run matters, and Walker sucks. Let's be honest. Okay, Julian, I think you're having too much PTSD there, man. I think you're having a little too much PTSD. there's going to be ebbs and flows about. There's going to be ebbs and flows with runners in scoring position. That's what it's going to be. Ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. This Phillies team has been really good all year. Don't, go into a panic mode just because they're not able. And they're not hitting with runners in scoring position, and they're still scoring at least 5 runs a game. So they're struggling with runners on, and they're still scoring. So they could be scoring 10 runs a game if they were just on fire constantly. So I don't see an issue. I don't see an issue right now. Yeah, Merrifield is definitely looking bad. Definitely. I was a fan of the signing, but Merrifield has proven me wrong. I think he's just washed. I think he's washed at this point in his career. I know he's a savvy vet. I know he's a good voice for the locker room and all that stuff. He just wants to win. I think we can tell his career is I think you could tell his career is coming to a near an end. Sounds like the Braves fans are scared we got some badass bats. We're just getting meaner. Let Braves fans be Braves fans. I don't have to worry about them. What fan base is for the Phillies or Mets? Because I would actually like to know. What are you trying to ask there, Supreme Panda? I'm not sure about the question. What fan base is for Phillies or Mets? I'm a Phillies fan. If you're asking what fan I am, I'm a Phillies fan. I'm a Philadelphia fan through and through. We done goofed. Thought on Thompson should have been more aggressive in the 10th inning. Realmuto and Harper on against a team that cannot throw runners out. Double steal. I can understand the choice, but then you can also throw into a thing where you don't want to try to give up an out because there could have been a situation there, like say if who was on at the time for the Mets pitching? Was it Lopez? It's definitely an option. It definitely is an option. It could have been. I guess Rob just didn't want to risk anything with 0 outs and possibly get JT thrown out at third. I feel like it's easier to get thrown out at third than it is at second. That's probably not proven by anything, but that's just me. Bohm is a double play waiting to happen. Killed it. Don't disrespect Bohm there, Sean. Don't disrespect Bohm. Bohm's been our best run producer all year. Sometimes you just don't get the hit. That's just what happens. He's been your best. What is he batting this year with runners in scoring position? What was above 400 or something like that? Yeah, he's not always going to get the hit. That number's eventually going to come down a little bit. So I can understand you're frustrated in that aspect. It definitely is frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I want Bowman to come up there, but if you're thinking about it realistically, you're not always going to get the hit. It's just what happens. Castellanos has played every inning. He needs some games off because he's back to doing nothing. Yeah, but then Rob Thompson it's Rob or Nick that keeps saying, I just like to play through it. I just like to swing my way through the struggles. And I guess Rob Thompson's leaving him to that. He gives all the benefit of the doubt to his players. So we'll see. I'm sure eventually Castellanos will get a day off from the field. Now, honestly, Sean, the game ended when they didn't score in the bottom of the 10th. Even though they did tie it in the bottom of the 11th, I think the game ended when they didn't score in the bottom of the 10th. Honestly, I think that's the rightful thing to say. I know you can't really say that because if they only allowed the one run on the top of the 11th, they would have tied it in the bottom of the 11th. I know. Funny and well, you're thinking about it this way. Yes, Bohm is our best hitter with runners in scoring position. He's been like that for the past few seasons. Would you still rather face him, or would you rather face Bryce Harper, one of the best players in baseball, with a chance to either tie the game / win the game? I think most teams are still taking it Bohm chances by chance rather than Bryce Harper. I think that's mostly what most teams would do, especially when it was a righty-lefty matchup from the pitching mound. If it was a lefty, maybe they would have kept the lefty in there against Bryce, and maybe that could have been the thing. But since it was, I think most teams would still rather face Bohm, regardless of the numbers, rather than Bryce, just because Bryce is the best player on the Phillies squad. And, okay, I'm not going to let the best player beat me. I'm going to let Bohm beat me, if you understand what I mean. I think that's the case right there. Sometimes you're just not going to win them all. That's what happens. Wouldn't be shocked if the Phillies win tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked. That's just what they've been doing all year. They're taking care of business. Taking care of business. I'm gonna keep. They haven't lost a series since those first 2 series of the year. Ever since then, it's been series win, series split, or sweep. That's what this team has been doing. Every time they lose a game, they go on to win another 3. Every time they maybe lose 1 or 2 games in a row, they'll go and win 4 or 5 in a row. That's what they've been. I'd take this L just to get Walker out, what happened? Damn. 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 Cold, Julian. That's cold. That's cold. Even though you probably share the same opinion as most Phillies fans. I never wish injury on anyone. I just no. I just would never do that. So yeah, that's just me. That's just me. I don't think that deeply. I want. I know you probably don't mean any harm by it, Julian, but it's just like I'm not going into this game. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's a post from Tim Kelly. Taijuan Walker is day-to-day with the toe. He was understandably frustrated by it, but relieved that x-rays were negative. Phillies obviously have Spencer Turnbull if Walker isn't available to make his next start. Yeah, they haven't lost back-to-back games since the Red Series, so every time they lose a game, they go and win the next. So they got a different mentality to them right now. Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling and taking care of your own business. I would like to see. I think it's important for Zack Wheeler to bounce back tomorrow because hasn't been the sharpest his past couple of games. 2 or 3 games actually. Was not good against the Miami Marlins. I want to look at Zack Wheeler's past couple of starts actually before I think of anything else. Because definitely Zack Wheeler's been a little bit off the last few games, but like I said, I do expect him to bounce back. Zack Wheeler. Looking at his past couple of starts. So his past 3 starts were May 1st against the Angels, May 6th against San Francisco, and May 12th against Miami. So Zack Wheeler against the Angels went 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. He battled through that game, but he definitely had his moments where he struggled. Against the San Francisco Giants, he was dominant. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 unearned run allowed, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. He was fantastic on that, series finale against San Francisco for the sweep. And then against Miami, he just struggled. He was not, command was all over the place. A lot of people want to point out it was Garrett Stubbs because, if they look at the, they're trying to point out the splits with Garrett Stubbs. Well, Zack Wheeler when Garrett Stubbs is catching him, when Zack Wheeler versus JT Realmuto is catching him. So we'll see. I'm sure JT will catch tomorrow, so JT looks fine. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I expect Zack Wheeler to be fine tomorrow. That's basically it. So, yeah. Jeff McNeil remains one of my least favorite players. He's not even good anymore. It's just on site. Yeah, Jeff McNeil is definitely a hate to face. He definitely looks like that type of guy. MLB is pretty bad, though. There's only 5 teams that are 10 games over 500, but seems not to matter because the last 2 World Series, the 6th seed made the World Series. It doesn't matter. That is what happens when you add an extra wild card spot. It does give a chance for a mediocre team to make the playoffs. And yeah, sometimes mediocre teams can pull together and create greatness. That's what the Phillies and the Diamondbacks did these past couple of seasons, even though the Phillies were the reason why the Diamondbacks even got to the World Series to begin with. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of other teams. Even though basically this is more with the new wild card spot, so that's basically it there. Yeah. Phillies team is different. How many teams are above 500 actually in the league? So looking at the entire league, Phillies 31-14, Yankees 30-15, Baltimore 27-14, Dodgers 29-16, Braves 26-14, Guardians 27-17, Brewers 26-17, Royals 26-19, Twins 24-19, Cubs 25-20, Mariners 24-20, Rangers 23-22, Rays 23-22, and then you get to the Boston Red Sox, who are exactly 500 at 22-22. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams that are above 500. And how many teams are even 10 games over 500? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 6 teams. Yeah, there's only 6 teams that are 10 games over 500. And then the Brewers are almost that team. They're 9 games above 500. So it could be 7 teams, but yeah, there's definitely more bad teams in baseball than there are good. There definitely is that. But yeah, I got nothing there. I got nothing there. Phillies are taking care of business and they're a good team. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care whatsoever. We do got some voicemails here on the Anytime Hotline, so I might as well bring those up. So let's go to there. We got 2, actually. We got one from Tyler, and we got one from Sean. Let's go to Tyler first. Let's see. Okay, for some reason the voicemail is... Let's go to the... There we go. I don't know why that wasn't playing there, so let me restart this. Always helps to be prepared. Sadly, I'm not.
So I'm not going to overreact in tonight's loss if you do have a podcast about it. I just want to call in and say I was fucking rage-induced by tonight's game. Only because I've been seeing a lot of the same mistakes that the Phillies make throughout the year. You know, when the bats are nice and warm, not hot, essentially, just warm, just room temperature, lukewarm, and they warmed up for you and they played good tonight. But the defense has to do better, man. Like, I can't, just too many errors, man. It was just so frustrating watching this. This shouldn't be a knockdown, drag-out brawl for the Phillies. It's a suck-ass Mets team. But this goes to show you can't underestimate some teams that are bad. But we played bad against this team 3 straight games in a row. Now, the one game we played good. Like, I think the game on Tuesday, we actually played like we played and we just fucking dominated. But the other 3 games are just super sloppy, and I don't accept that kind of baseball. I expect nothing but perfection from this team because we are great batters. So I expect nothing but perfection. I was not impressed with 3 of these 4 games against the Mets. Do better defensively. And the bats are heating up. Good for the hitting. Let's see more. Go Phil. Talk to you next time. Peace.
I appreciate the call, Tyler X. I love when you say I expect nothing but perfection. I say that as a joke because you're not always going to be perfect. I think it speaks more when you find ways to win when you're not playing your best baseball, and the Phillies have been finding ways to win when they're not playing their best. Now, granted, yes, when they do play better teams, they are going to have to play, not sloppy. So yeah, that definitely is a point there. But it's just these 3 games. It's like the Phillies and the Mets. There's always weird shit that happens. It's just like weird anomalies that happen. Like both teams find ways to be stupid. And it's just the way it is. The Mets in their, it's just the Mets, their badness. They just get even more sloppy against the Phillies, and the Phillies for some reason they just get sloppy. I can't explain it. It's just Phillies versus Mets chaos. That's just basically what it is. I don't know what it is. So yeah, what was it? First game when they won 5-4, they come back and find a way to win that one. Yeah, Rojas defensively lately has not been the best. He's been definitely sloppy there in that aspect. Game 2, yeah. Well, Tuesday's game, Aaron Nola was really good, and basically the entire product was fine. Yeah, yesterday was sloppy defensively wise, both sides. The defense was the reason why they even scored those first couple of runs yesterday, but then your offense managed to wake up, which was really good. And then what else? Yeah, defensively there was some sloppiness today, wild pitches and all that stuff. But like I said, ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows, and you're still winning games, still winning games. That's why I don't harp it in as much right now, just because you're winning. Winning cures all, and granted, they didn't win today, so I'm sure more people are more frustrated about that. But just keep winning your games, and you'll be fine. Keep winning your games, and you'll be fine. That's all I see about it. Win series, 2 of 3, 3 of 4. It's the name of the game, and if you find a way to sweep, that's the icing on the cake. Let's go to the next caller. We got a Sean here. We got Sean.
Tough one tonight. I mean, tough to lose a game like that you basically handed the Mets. But you could see the wheels coming off the wagon a little bit when Stott made that error to start the eighth inning. And you had Taylor picked off. Why nobody on the team was calling out to Hoffman to step off is beyond me. And then you just hit in tough luck in the ninth and 10th. I mean, Realmuto hits a bullet for an out. Castellanos hits a bullet for an out. And I always say in these extra inning games, you should be able to get one run, but it's tough to get multiple runs. And the Phillies pitchers just handed it to them. Tough game. Tough last couple games. I mean, they really have been sloppy defensively. Haven't played well, fielding their positions, and it finally caught up with them. You still win basically what I consider a 4-game series, 3 out of 4. Got to bounce back tomorrow, but this was a tough one tonight.
Sean's absolutely right. Treat it as a 3 or 4 game series. It needed that. Needed that. Needed 3 or 4. 3 or 4, and you feel much better about it. Like I said, I think they'll be better. I counted to the past couple of days. Yesterday, I think the sloppiness yesterday was more, besides the Rojas stuff, with everything, I attribute it more to the weather yesterday because the weather was very bad to start the game. I'm not even sure why they even delayed it. Didn't delay it till later in the night. I think there was some sloppy weather even in the first 2 games against the Mets, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't adequate those games to the errors, or the weather to the errors in those games. But, yeah, it's what happens. They're not the best defensive team in the world, so they're going to have games where they do struggle defensively. They're going to have games where they miss a throw over the first base. They're going to, I'm definitely not expecting that from Rojas because he was told to us that he was one of the best gloves that they have in the system, and he did show that last year, but he's just not been good, especially lately for Rojas. Sometimes it's just mental. Sometimes you just get yourself out of it. Sometimes you make a simple play. Sometimes you make a big play, and it gives you all your confidence back in the world. So, what are you going to do? It's funny, too. I would never, see the day coming where I would think Alec Bohm is probably the best Phillies defender on the team. Even Bryce Harper at first base is probably one of your best defenders. So that's definitely something. Stott is a good defender. Sometimes he just has those errant throws, which is crazy in my honest opinion because he can be really good defensively, especially when it comes to fielding ground balls. So we'll see. We'll definitely see on that case. There was more on Trey Turner. He was fielding some ground balls today, which was really good. He was throwing it over the Matt Strom at first base. So who knows? We'll play it year by year, but with Trey Turner, we'll definitely see what happens there. If he comes back earlier or not, I wouldn't be shocked if they just, since they're just winning their games still, they don't rush anything. I don't think they should rush anything. Say if this Phillies team was like they were in previous years and they were slow starting, they were below 500 at this point, they were scrapping just to get above 500, yeah, they would probably be trying to rush Trey Turner back even more. I think in the position that they're in right now, I don't think they have to rush him back. I just think that would be kind of stupid. I don't think they are rushing him back. I think it's just Trey Turner being Trey Turner, the competitor that he is. So, yeah, I'm not, they'll be excited when he comes back, but definitely don't need to rush him, because the guys are stepping up without him, which is the most important thing. Sosa has been actually very good at the plate in replace of Trey Turner. Now, granted, that's eventually going to come back down to earth, but, Sosa's been a nice spark plug for you with the bat lately, which is, something I did not expect. So, yeah, like that out of Mr. Gus Sosa. But, turns, like I keep saying, you're not going to win all of those games. That's just what it comes down to. So we got to see. What else? I was having discussions with my buddy. I'm trying to think of something before we end it off here because we can hang out for a little bit longer. I probably do not have to edit tonight. I definitely don't have to edit tonight because Brodes has the radio show tonight and he wasn't able to get his recap on before he left. So I can hang out here a little bit more before we end it off here. I was actually talking to my buddies in my Phillies group chats on Discord earlier today and talking about trade deadline stuff and all that. you know, like, could this be the season that, you know, you didn't do anything big in the offseason, you didn't make those big signings or big splashes? Is Dave Dombrowski brewing up something? Like, basically, your biggest splash in the offseason was bringing back Aaron Nola. That was basically it. And, you know, is Dave Dombrowski cooking up something for the trade deadline? Can something be really big brewing up there? I possibly think it can. Now I'm trying to think of, like, where you go from that aspect, because what I think this Phillies team needs is, you know, they can definitely use some more help in the bullpen. You know, adding more arms does not hurt in that aspect. Do they go after another starting pitcher? Maybe, maybe not. But probably more of a depth guy than anything. More of a, like, you know, like a Spencer Turnbull, you know, bottom of the rotation type of guy that can also fit into the bullpen. But I wouldn't be shocked if they go after, like, you know, a high leverage type of arm, a team that, you know, is in selling mode or something like that. Like, this is also something that one of my buddies also brought up. What about if the Houston Astros? Because what is the Houston Astros record right now? Because I know it's not good. I know it's not good. Their record. Houston, they are 19-25. They're 6 games below 500. They're third place in the AL West, just because that's how bad the AL West is. But say if Houston, if they're still not playing good come the trade deadline, what if they decide to sell? Decide to sell some of their pieces? Because I believe on their roster, they have 2 guys that are going to be big on the free agent market this year, which is Alex Bregman and Kyle Tucker. And you know, obviously they're bullpen guys. They'll probably sell off some of their bullpen arms. But if you're thinking to yourself, if Dave Dombrowski wants to make a huge splash at the trade deadline, make a big statement to the league, like, we're going all in this year, I believe that this is the team that's built to win the World Series, this is what I want to go after. What if Houston's still bad? This is just hearsay. This is just up in the air for you guys to talk about. This is barroom conversation. What if Houston's still bad? What if they put guys like Tucker and Bregman up for sale? Do you go after a guy like a Kyle Tucker? Do you go after a guy like Kyle Tucker for the outfield? Here's the thing: can Kyle Tucker play center field? Can Kyle Tucker play center field? But then I know you could also say the fact that Kyle Tucker positions. What positions can he play? I'm assuming he could play the entire outfield. That's what I'm assuming. He's a right fielder by trade. I would think if you're looking at that trade, you would probably, if you're thinking about all the things here, and say if Rojas was one of the pieces that you moved in the deal, he definitely wouldn't be the centerpiece. It would probably be someone from your prospect system, because I'm not sure. Because honestly, like, if you're thinking about it, he's going to be a free agent after this year, so yeah, it's going to be expensive, but it's not going to be as expensive thinking if he has years of control left. He's going to be a free agent after this year, and it's not guaranteed that he resigns with your team. So the cost won't be that egregious. So if you're thinking to yourself, do you do Johan Rojas, Make Abel, and maybe Crawford? Do you send those 3 guys to get Kyle Tucker? And I'm sure Dave Dombrowski can convince Kyle Tucker to re-sign in Philadelphia. That wouldn't be the case. That I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest there. I would go after Kyle Tucker. That would make your lineup 100% better and 100% deeper. You put Kyle Tucker out in right field, or you put him out in left field. You keep, you know, Castellanos where he's at, and then you put, you know, Brandon Marsh, platoon him with Pache in center field. I think that's a good recipe right there. I would 100% do that. Yeah, Kyle Tucker is probably going to be at least a $300 million player, because Kyle Tucker is a very underrated player in this league. I think he's that good. And I think, you know, a guy with a lot of playoff experience, a lot of World Series experience, he has a ring to his name, played a long time in a winning organization like Houston. Granted, like some people want to think about them, they've had a lot of success. Add that to your lineup and add that to your team. Make yourselves 10 times better. I would 100% do that. I wouldn't be shocked if Dave Dombrowski does that. I wouldn't think it would have to require a guy like a Andrew Painter or a Aiden Miller, possibly. I'm sure Dave Dombrowski wants to avoid trading those 2 specifically, in Painter and Miller, because those 2 guys are studs down there. Granted, you know, Painter has the Tommy John surgery, so it's going to take a little bit for him. But Aiden Miller, the stuff that he's doing down in single A ball, It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I think you can make a package that is, Mick Abel, Crawford. You could put Rojas in the deal. I would do it. It would probably take a little more, but I would do it. I would 100% do it. That's just something for you guys to think about. Tucker, yes. Bregman stinks now. Rojas, Abel, and whatever. Yeah. I would 100%. What's Kyle Tucker's stats this year? Kyle Tucker, he's got 13 home runs, so he would lead the Phillies in home runs so far. He's 27 years old. He's batting .280, 408 on base percentage, and he has an OPS of 1,000 exactly. So, yeah, if the Astros are still bad, come trade deadline, he will be a hot commodity at the trade deadline. I would not be shocked if Dave Dombrowski tries to go after him and make a big splash. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked. Man, that would be fun if we could find a way to acquire Tyler. This is still granted that the Houston Astros still play like the way they're playing as the season goes along. Yeah, they're 6 games below 500, but the Astros can go on a stretch of winning at any given pace because they are the Astros. So we'll just wait and see what happens on their perspective. Trade deadline isn't a couple of months away, so a lot of things can change at that point. But it's always fun to have that barroom type of conversation at this point. I would love a Kyle Tucker. Yeah, I think that's been the problem with the Astros. Their pitching has not been good. What's Ryan Presley's numbers on the year? Because could you get a package of Ryan Presley and Kyle Tucker? What are Ryan Presley's numbers this year? What are his numbers? He is 5.51 ERA, 18 games. He hasn't saved the game this year. 16 innings, 20. Is he injured? He's not been good. Maybe stray away from Presley. Go somewhere else. Maybe go another route. I doubt they would go after a guy like Mason Miller from the A's. That guy that's been throwing 103, 104 miles an hour. That package would be egregious because he's got so many years of control left. And granted, he has had such a very small sample size in Major League Baseball. But with the A's, they're 100% going to sell high on that kid. And it's going to be a team like the Yankees, the Dodgers, 100%. Teams that have very deep prospect pools, and they're willing to cough up a lot because he's got, I believe he has 3-4 years of control left. He's very young. Like I said, he throws 103. Dude's got gaslighting elite stuff. He's gonna take a truckload home for the Oakland A's, soon to be Las Vegas A's. So yeah, Oakland's 100% selling high on that kid. I don't think the Phillies would be in the sweepstakes for him because they just don't have that much in the prospect system to give up for that. But I do believe they can have enough to get a Kyle Tucker. All said and done there. Crazy stuff. But yeah, that is just the barroom conversation there. Always something to think about as you progress throughout the season. But yeah. So what else? I don't think there's anything else on the palette for now. Yeah. Game tomorrow. Zack Wheeler on the bump. City Connect uniforms. Hopefully it's not another cursed game with the City Connect uniforms. And we'll see what happens. So, yeah, that'll do it for tonight, everybody. Definitely a longer stream than normal, but like I said, I didn't have to edit tonight just because of the circumstance with Hunter having to go to WIP early for his show, basically right when the Phillies ended, so it was kind of unlucky that they went to that deep in extra innings. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys joining as always, so don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Also use the code TTPSPORTS. $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Get yourself down to Citizens Bank Park. It'll be a great, fantastic time. Thanks, guys, for tuning in tonight.